Wicked Witches. It's the Libra full moon. It's yummy. And it's an opportunity for a narrative shift, for a story change. Create or be created. Our words are spells. We spell our reality into being. And all the madness that's going on in the world is an example of how it's all made up. So, you know, a whim, a lunatic can just change the whole world order because it's all made up. And so it's revealing that in a much more like collective and obvious and like clear way, like the veil lifting and seeing the wizard behind the Wizard of Oz, like turning the dials, and yeah, he's just suddenly gone, "Ow, I'm just gonna do this. Fire, wow, it's all made up." Right, well, if that's the case, we can do whatever the fuck we want. We literally can, okay? And so what do you want to create? And we just did a meditation meeting Osiris. So the meditation is you are standing on warm sand. You can feel it between your toes, on your feet, and it's not burning hot, although it feels like it should be because you're in Egypt and the sun is bright and clear and hot, but the sand is not burning you because you're in an inner world, Egypt, and so anything is possible here. And you were looking up at the pyramid, which is just awe-inspiring and vibrating with energy and this collective, just this collective energy that is of what it is, what it means, the mystery and the union of how it was built, of whatever that was, however that was done. There's some coming together. It wasn't one person, presumably. It was a collection of people creating this. Unions and people and collections of people create things. We can make things happen. We can create a pyramid. We can do this. And now you are walking down into the inner chamber of the pyramid, and it's getting cooler. And it's not getting dark because it's glowing with this phosphorescent beauty of the inner world. And it's getting brighter as you come into this central space, but it's this glowing phosphorescent neon kind of light. And then you're before Osiris the god. He sat there in his big blue eagle-like coat that's just, he's not quite human, like he's this glowing entity, and he's here to witness. He's not here to judge, he's here to witness. And from the shadows, Anubis comes forth with the scales, and he stands before you, and Osiris takes a feather, a white feather, and places it on the scale. And you place your hand on your chest, and you feel the warmth and the beating of your heart, and this becomes a jewel in your hand, a red glowing jewel with all these facets. It's the inner divine jewel. And you place it on the scale, and you witness, along with Osiris, how heavy your heart feels. And one by one, you take off of these facets from the jewel, the ones that are heavy, and they turn into black rose petals in your hand, and you cup them, you keep them in your hand, and you name them. You own what these things are. What is it that makes your heart heavy? What makes you feel like you're holding yourself to ransom? And you take them and you place them in your hand, however many it takes for those scales to become balanced, for your heart to be as light as a feather. And once they are even, Anubis nods to you, and you take the jewel and you place it back within your heart. And he goes back to the shadows. You thank Osiris. and you leave. And as you make your way back out into the light and into the sunshine, you have these rose petals that, as you go out into the light, become red, beautiful, glowing petals that are medicine. Because these are your teachers, these difficulties, these challenges are your quests. And it's for you to work with them, to transform them, to alchemize them into being light, into something light that isn't making your heart heavy. But that's your challenge, that's for you to do, that's your quest. What boundaries need setting, what needs accepting and just owning, what needs letting go of, what needs changing, that's for you to decide. But they're your medicine. So you take them with you out into the world. And we are then taking stones. I've got a black and a white stone. And the black stone, oh no, sorry, the white stone. There's a key reason for this. The black stone, I was right in the first place. The black stone is, no, it isn't, sorry. The white stone is what you're giving away. There's a reason for this, and it makes your mind bend, which is just done to me. The white stone is what you're going to release. So what is it that was making your heart heavy that you're going to let go of in whatever capacity it is, changing it, accepting it, whatever it is. But the white stone is what was the thing that's making you heavy. And I pulled a rune for mine, and it might be something you want to do. You could pull a rune or draw a symbol on it for what it is that makes you feel heavy. And then the black rune is for the medicine. So what it is that you want to nourish yourself with, support yourself with, nurture yourself with. The reason why it's this way around is because we always see it the other way around. The white would be the positive, the new beginning, and the black would be the darkness. But it doesn't have to be that way around. And within yin and yang, you have the spots. And they're the little bit of dark in the light and the light in the dark. So we're swapping it, we're turning it around. And actually this is because quite often it is us being like, set in a direction, and it's about us going against the grain. How can we go against the grain to really mix things up and change things, and just not keep doing the same thing over and over again? So what we just found in the ceremony was the runes we pulled seemed like they were the wrong way round, but then actually when we looked at them that way round, it was like, oh, actually maybe that is the medicine. Like maybe I should be working with it in the opposite way that I felt. So explore that. And then once I'm going to draw the runes on my two stones, or the symbols for what they represent. And then to take them and put the white stone of what you're letting go of. So you start it as a little pilgrimage. And you're going to create this little pilgrimage so that you're creating a medicine line somewhere in your life, in your world. So pick it wisely. Pick it somewhere that it's useful to you. It could be your bedroom. It could be where you work. I'm going to do it in my favourite place to walk, in Sark, and I'll place the stone at the beginning and to do a little ceremony and set the intention at the beginning. And a pilgrimage is just walking with intention. So even if it's your bedroom, you're walking across your bedroom with intention. That's what your pilgrimage is. So pilgrimage is walking with intention. So I place this stone at the beginning of it, and then I will go on my quest. And it's this quest towards whatever I want to let go of to make my heart light, what I need to work with, whatever it is. And you can keep walking this line again and again and again. But you walk the first time with this stone, the black stone, and when you get to the end, you put the black stone there. So you've got the white stone at the beginning, black stone at the end, and you've created that line, this energy line. And this is your medicine line. And you can keep coming back and walk it time and time again, exploring this quest, whatever this quest is, of whatever it is that makes your heart heavy, that you want to let go of or work with in some way. And then the medicine that you feel that you need, like the medicine you want to give to yourself at the other end. And you keep exploring it and you keep working with it, and they might come to mean different things over time. But that's this little thing that you're creating for yourself, this little pilgrimage route for you to work with. So that's what we did in the ceremony. And now I will do a reading. We also then treated ourselves with all sorts of wonderful chocolates and yummy things, because it's the yummy, sexy Venus energy with the rose, and talked about Mary Magdalene and the Venus journey. There's some books that I would highly recommend that are, because we are about to start a new part of the Venus cycle. She's about to descend into the underworld. Inanna, the goddess, is about to descend to see her sister Ishgagel in the underworld. And she's just come out of the retrograde. So the Venus retrograde has stationed direct at the same time as the moon is full in Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus. That's really unusual for that to happen, that a retrograding planet stations direct at the same time as the moon under the sign that it rules goes full. Like, that's really unusual. So it's a real like narrative point. It's a plot point in the story. And Venus is the goddess of love, compassion, art, creativity, the feminine. So what is it that, like, what is it we've got to say? What is it we want to change in the script? Because the script has been thrown out the window. So what is it we want to write? What is it we want to create? It's a real opportunity. Yeah, just fucking go for it, basically, because it's all to play for, isn't it? It's, the world order has just been flipped on its head and destroyed in an instant. So it's fucking all go. Anything you want, mate. Anything you want. So I'm going to pull the reins. And Venus, remember, she's love, compassion, unity. She's also war, you know, she's not scared to fight. And then I just pulled the rune, be strong. Uraz, I'm just trying to remember the names of the runes tonight and it's not happening. I've just started my bleed today. But this is the rune of strength, of being strong. And this was the last rune I pulled for my final pilgrimages. So I've done 4 pilgrimages, walking 500 miles across the UK, both directions. And I went that way, and then I went that way, and then I went that way, and then I went that way. And the last rune I pulled for these 4 pilgrimages was this rune, doing these lines. So I've done these energy lines across the whole of the UK in both directions, with a rune at the beginning and a rune at the end. And it felt weird, this one being the end rune of all, like, because it was such a big bit of work. It felt strange that this was the last rune, because all I ever knew about this was it's the ox and it's be strong. Didn't really mean much to me. But when I finished this last pilgrimage, I felt so strong. And it wasn't just like physically strong, although I was physically fit and strong. I just felt so fucking solidly powerful. I was powerfully alive and fearless and sure of myself, of truth, I was in full understanding and appreciation of everything. And yeah, nothing was out of balance. I was in perfect balance and harmony. And that was real strength. That was what actual strength is. So how can we be like this scale, light as a feather? And that is what is actually strong. When you're there and you feel like that, they can come and burn you at the stake. Whatever it is they chuck at you, whatever, like, you're strong. They're not going to put you out of kilter. So we've got community in the physical. And this is what I think is key, is resilience, is through community. It's hard work, it's a constant conversation about how to share space, as my dear friend Heather said on one of the pilgrimages. But it is the thing that is going to protect us and unite us. You know, it's all very well you growing your own food, but if someone turns up with a gun and takes it off you, the way that you're going to be able to grow food and that not happen is if you do it collectively and you have a community around you to support you. So we need to work together. We need to learn to work together. I'm working, but also without beigifying yourself. So I call it the beige brigade. You do not need to be beige in order to fit in so that the community accepts you, so that you then get protected. Stand your ground. It's like, I'm this is what you're getting, but I am also here to work in the community. I bring this to the party. I would like your protection if the shit hits the fan. If you don't do it, well, fuck you. But I'm not going beige in order to fit in. We can all be ourselves. There is room for all of us, and actually for us to have resilience in the future, you need biodiversity, and that includes this biodiversity. So bringing it all to the party, and sunshine to the communication. So this is the sun and this is in air. So this is about saying positive stories, like it's not all doom and gloom. Be the positive voice, the positive change. Like, we are creating new narratives that are not the narratives that we are being sold. We're not gonna let him fucking rewrite everything and come up with bullshit. we can write our own narratives that are about love and compassion and understanding and unity and passion and creativity and love. As above, so below. And this is in the fire. It's what we put out in the world. It's the inner and the outer. It's like, yeah, you reap what you sow. Do the inner work. It will reflect. Your outer world is a reflection of the inner world. We are in a fractal, and we're a pixel in a fractal. And so work with what's in front of you. It will reverberate. It will ripple out into the bigger picture. So work with what's in front of you and trust that it's doing that. Same with the inner and the outer. So this is EL, which is the yew tree. So the inner and the outer, as above, so below. And then we have the blank rune, which is the Fool, and this is the inner world. Anything is possible. Step off the cliff into the unknown and trust that when you fall, you will fly. And you won't believe how mad this is, because yeah. I'll take a picture, you'll see the picture. The runes go perfectly with the setup on here with the black and white stone, because the blank rune looks like a white stone even though it's black and it's next to the white stone. So literally that's a very cool reading. Anything, just go for it. Like, the Fool is stepping off the cliff into the unknown. So yeah, it's chaos, it's mayhem, it's the nonsense and the chaos, it's all of this, but like it's literally clearly made up. So what are we going to do? Spell. Our words are spells. What are we going to spell into being? We have the Aquarius age and the Libra full moon, so they're all air, and it means that our words are more powerful than they've ever been. So what we create at the moment, the words we speak at the moment, are so powerful. And like, you know, I might get rounded up by the fascists when the fascists come, but that means if I don't, then I haven't tried hard enough. So, you know, be brave, be fearless, say what you believe in, talk about the things that matter, that you care about, that you think are important, and don't be scared. It might not end well, but you'll be remembered for being a hero and being on the right side of history. And it takes like a really tiny percentage of fishes to try and change the direction of shoulder fish or for a murmuration. It just needs to be a percentage of us that does it, you know? So we need to work together, and we need to work in unity, and we need to inspire each other, and we need to feel like we can do this together. And that's the way that it will work, and that's community. So, power. So remember that you're powerful, remember that you're strong. The foundations are the work that you're doing, the work that you're putting out there, but also self-care, making sure your well is full. Just work on strong foundations. Physical as well, because this is disc, so out in the physical world, do you need to make sure you're earning money, or do you need to like buy a house, or what, like, or sell the house, sell the shares, whatever it is? Like, what do you need to do to sort things out? Go to the dentist. What do you need to physically get sorted so that you're in your power, that you're strong, your foundations are strong? We need to start thinking practically about what we're doing. And then we need to do everything from a place of love. And this is the Venus card. It's the beautiful flowing cups of love. Whatever is happening, I have, you know, there are people that drive me up the wall at the moment, and not in a like, oh, I mean as in like, if I went there, they are my trumps in my world, right? They are evil and are spreading misinformation. They're dangerous. They are threatening people's lives. Like, their behavior is endangering people's lives, and it's all from a place of vanity and delusion and greed, and that's fucked up. But I also have to love them and have compassion for them, because they are these petals. They're the medicine. They're here to challenge me, but they're here to teach me boundaries, communication, standing up for myself, standing up for what I believe in, and meeting them with love and compassion, and trying to understand things from their perspective and why it's happening, and like, don't make up stories that you're then completely obsessed with and ingrained with. They are that. It's like, yes, but they're that, and they are other things, you know? Like that, they're not seeing that the story in their head isn't what you're seeing from your perspective. Are there ways that you can possibly get them to look at things from your perspective, and or what are you going to learn from looking at things from their perspective? And how do you then match that or meet that and challenge that if you just, there is no common ground? Like maybe it is about they're here to teach you boundaries and to say, no, I'm not giving you any more of my energy. Like what are they here to teach you? Prince of Swords is cutting through the fake news and cutting through the bullshit, and where you're holding yourself to ransom. So where are you covering yourself in nonsense? And it could be about thinking of going against the grain. So one of the petals I pulled out is that I'm always too busy. Like I'm money and time scarce. And so I'm always too busy to do this. I'm always too busy. I don't answer emails and messages because I'm just, it's all scattergun. I'm like, I'll do a bit of that and then I'll do a bit of that and a bit of that. And it's the only way I can kind of do all the things that I do. So the answer could be, should be, and what I'm always thinking is, well, I need to do less. I should just do less. And maybe I do need to do that, and that I need to take stock and work out if I do need to do that and make a choice over what that is. And or I just have to fucking own that's what I'm like, and I always will be, because that is what I'm like, and it's how I have always been. My aunt and uncle are staying at the moment, and I was talking like this with my aunt. She said, yeah, no, I remember you saying this in Edinburgh 6-7 years ago. You know, you were saying basically exactly the same thing 6-7 years ago in Edinburgh. So it's like, well, am I going to change? I mean, the circumstances have changed. I was talking about theatre then, and now I'm talking about politics and, you know, doing a podcast. Like it's a different landscape, it's different stuff, but the narrative is the same. But that's because I'm the character and it's my story. So am I going to just own the story? And I will always be strung out, I'll always be tired, I'll always be overstretched, I'll always be overachieving. That's my story. Can I just own it and crack on with it and not fucking complain about it? Or am I going to do things differently? And it can be a bit of both. It's not like black and white. There's always the third way. So is it a bit of both? Own it and, you know, do something about it. So now I'm going to pull a little nod from the goddess. Self-devotion. Which was what we did tonight as our little treat at the end. I was talking about my dear friend Lee, who passed away, but he was an absolute ledge. And he used to have these wonderful date nights with himself called She-Ra dates, because he loved She-Ra. He was gay. He was fabulous. And he would just spend the night like we did as a teenager, dancing around your room to Kate Bush, like making up dance routines. He just did nights like that as a date night with himself. And it would be fully physical. And he'd get drunk with himself, like he'd get wrecked, he'd party, he'd play music, and he'd just dance around and have a good time on his own. And he'd be like, oh, what are you up to tonight, Lee? You coming out? And be like, no, I'm having a She-Ra date. And we knew what that meant. So I invite you to have She-Ra dates. We had like a little glimmer of a She-Ra date at the end of our ceremony tonight. And this is self-devotion. I don't actually need to read out what it says, because that's what that is. So you're giving yourself a little self-devotion and a little She-Ra date. Very nourishing and yummy. And we need to keep doing this, because it's also this thing of creating new narratives. The more we just do mad shit like that and don't be beige, it's where you get to find your non-beigeness, is through doing these sort of things. And then a little kiss on the forehead from the goddess. Peace. Feels very key. The world is at war. So how do we create spaces for peace in ourselves, in the picture? How do we be a stand for peace? How do we, it's not fighting, you know, fighting for war is like fucking for virginity, as I used to say when I was like a teenager, without even really knowing what that meant. I suppose it seemed to make sense at the time, but it doesn't really make sense. Not fighting for peace. How do we, again, it's going against the grain. You're not fighting for peace. So how do you create peace? How do you be peace in yourself? Peace within yourself, to be at peace so that you can deal with FOMO or enemies or conflicts, whatever it is, that you can just be at peace with it and forgive, and it's compassion. Again, it's love. So being loving to yourself, being loving to the people that annoy you or that scare you or you know, how can you be at peace with Trump and Trumpness? Within that, having spaces for peace that are reverberating out, you know, adding that into the mix. That's not from this place of fighting. It's a paradox. Underneath it all, so these are new cards and I don't know them, so I am going to read this one out. Underneath it all. Okay. She looks fab. She's underwater slightly. Underneath it all. Dare to uncover your realist you, your truthiest truth. Do it layer by layer with love, kindness, and all the compassion. Because it's underneath it all that you can and will reveal what's real and true to you. Your soul truth, your Venus path, your power and magic, which can, will, must be used to strengthen and fortify you in your human form, so that you create and innovate, so that you dare to dance with all of life, all your parts and all your pieces, and flourish and thrive in all your aliveness. So that's the nail on the head. Thank you, Goddess. And then we're going to pick a deity cards to support us and work with us on this journey. Lady of the Beasts, Sacred Bonds. The Lady of the Beasts. Let's see what she's got to say. Looks fab. Friends with all the animals. Spirit of peace and prosperity. The Lady of the Beasts is venerated throughout Sumer, Crete and the Indus Valley, with origins tracing as far back as the Neolithic era. She is often depicted pregnant and surrounded by animals, coexisting peacefully in a manner and not typically observed in nature. Her name has gone largely unknown throughout history, since the worship of the Lady of the Beasts may have predated physical writing altogether. She commands and protects all animals, serving as a goddess of fertility and life-giving energy. Lady of the Beasts summons you to her circle to teach you about sacred bonds. We all travel along our own paths in life, yet we are drawn to cross the paths of others. Those who we consider to be our true family are often not related to us by blood at all, but rather in spirit. Lady of the Beasts appears at this moment to assist you with understanding just who your soul family is and how you can all benefit from this positive energy. If you're feeling alone, know that your kindred souls are on their way, searching far and wide for their sacred bond reunion. And something else I'd say with that is that we are all soul family, like the whole thing. So even those that are here to challenge you, like I say, they are your medicine. But yeah, to keep, the more you're yourself, the more you're your truest truth, your truest self, the more you will connect to and meet and attract people that are like that as well. So yeah, just keep trusting the journey, and yeah, when you meet people that inspire you, hold them close, keep them in your world, but know that they're not like, comparison is the thief of joy, and those beings are in your life because you're creating that. Your outer world is a sign language for your inner world. So if you're surrounded by amazing, inspiring people, that's because you're amazing and inspiring. You might look at them and go, God, you guys are so amazing and inspiring. But if they're there in your world, it's because you are part of that. Like, they're drawn to you, they're around you because you're that. And yeah, and it could be that you're reaching a frequency that means that the people around you no longer fit, and it's time for you to let go of people and move on, and that's fine and that's okay, and that just has to happen sometimes. Really hard when you're on a rock and you have to then see each other every day. But that's my problem and not yours. So thank you. I hope you get to have a lovely yummy Shira day, and let's fucking go invent some mad shit and inspire ourselves and inspire the world around us for exciting, amazing things to happen. Let's turn the world into a fabulous place for the She-Ra's and fight the beigeness away and the anger and the hate, and be a space of peace and love and compassion and kindness. So with that, good night. Go look at the moon, and I'll see thee anon.